Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Faisal and I am a junior doctor from the UK. In this video, I'll be teaching you a great way, or at least my favorite way, to make a brand new website in as little as 10 minutes. Okay, so the basic outline will be, firstly, I'm going to talk a bit about why you might want to make a website, then I'm going to build one right here so you can see how I do it, and then I'll show you how to publish it onto the web, talk a bit about the pricing, and also some of the disadvantages of the application we'll be using. And finally, I'll touch a bit on some alternative ways that I use to make websites, like using WordPress, but I'll be covering that in some later videos. If you're looking for something in particular and you want to skip to it, I'll leave some timestamps in the description below. Now, I had no formal experience in making a website previously. I didn't know how to code, I still don't know how to code, and I had very little money because I was a student. I still wanted to make something functional and just turn my idea into a reality somehow. So if you're a beginner and you like to make a website for next to nothing, you like to do it quickly, and you don't want to learn how to code to do it, you're in the right place. Now, if you already know a thing or two about making websites, then this video probably won't be for you, unless you see the value of creating a brand new website, a simple website just like that. So let's talk a bit about why you might want to make a website. First of all, like the most popular case of making a website is to try and start a side hustle and try and earn some money. Another thing which a lot of people do is try and advertise an event and make it a bit more official by giving it a website. You could also try and show off, yourself or your portfolio of work using a website. So there's a lot of different reasons why you might want to make one. And one popular thing we've been seeing recently is a sort of link in bio website that people put in their Instagram and Twitter bios, which basically open up into a sort of collection of links of things that you'd like to share with your followers. Alright, so I'm just going to go straight into it and start building a website. The website we'll be using is called Card. So I've gone ahead and created a new account on the free plan, so I'm seeing exactly what you'll be seeing as soon as you sign up for free. So let's hit new site and create our first website. Now you can choose from any of these different templates if you like. That will save you a lot of time. You can create a profile or a portfolio website if the website is going to be about yourself. Or you can create a landing page, usually a one-page website which visitors will initially land on. This is where you try and catch their attention and try and get them to perform an action, usually either buy something or at least enter their email so you can follow them up. They've even gone and made some templates based around forms and email collection, which is pretty helpful. The final section is called multi-sectioned, which basically mimics a multi-page website, even though technically it's all on one page. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. This looks quite nice, it looks quite minimalist. Okay, so the first thing to note is, ignore the page for the moment. I want you to focus on the top right hand. Okay, this toolbar is basically the basis for what will allow us to change what's on the page. So the first thing we can do is add an element, so that our entire website is made up completely up of these elements. Okay, note how these three are locked off because we don't have a pro account. I'll come back to that later and show you how these are really helpful. So as we add a new element into the website, that will basically get added to the bottom, and then we can drag and drop that around, and that will help form our website. Alright. On the toolbar, next up is undo and redo your actions. This little play icon will basically play the animation of like what the viewer will see when they load your website. These hashtags, don't worry about this, we'll come back to later. That kind of means like the different sections or pages. This little mobile icon will allow you to see a mobile view, basically what the website will look like on a mobile. And finally, save. Once you're done, creating your website, or you just want to sort of save your progress, you can either save it as a draft or you can save it to the domain. Okay, so we'll come back to that a little bit later. This little bit over here allows you to change the background. The background is obviously just usually a color. You can add a video, a picture, up to you. But more importantly is the sort of page element, okay? So I'm going to click page. And you can see that I'll choose maybe a box. I'm going to increase the width a bit, and that will increase the sort of page, the main, component of the website. Now the second thing to note is that with each of these elements, if you click on those, then this sort of sidebar will come up, which will allow you to change the content, appearance, and a lot of other things regarding that specific element. So with most elements you get sort of content. So if this is an image, you can change the content of it. The next little tab there is basically about the appearance, so you can change the width, the height, anything like that. There's a lot of different options here for you to play around with, and the settings, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Now let's talk a bit about this page structure, okay? Now if you look at the top, these different control kind of like these dashed lines separate out the individual pages or our different sections, okay? If you look here, it says header end, which basically means everything above it is actually a header. So no matter what page you're on, you're going to see this little header, everything above this point at the top of your page. And vice versa, at the bottom we've got a footer, so everything below there is essentially the footer, which will be at the bottom of your website. And everything in the middle, as you can see at the top, we've got 3 different pages: home, about, contact. These are all buttons that link to those specific pages, and those pages are here. So we've got the home bit here, we've got about, and we've got contact. Okay, this looks super simple, but it can be as complex as you want it to be. So now let me just show you it in action. Let me add a few elements to this website. So the first thing I might do is just show you what a container looks like. So if I add a container here, I want to drag it towards the top, the main page. If I put that there, let me just change this text to Faisal's website. Cool. Chief Psychonaut, what the hell is that? Call me an astronaut at least, that makes more sense. Alright, so now we've got container. What I've done with my personal website is something like this. I'll show you. So I've created 2 columns within that container. I'm going to set the first column as a width of 75, which makes the other one automatically 25. Let's collapse these down. Now I can change the appearance of these, but I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. What I'm going to do there is I'm going to add a button. Okay, the button sort of mimics the previous buttons already in the page, but you can play around with this design if you like. I'm going to say YouTube. So this, I'll put a link to my YouTube channel here. You can add a link. Let's just. Okay, we've added that in. Let's increase the width of this a bit. Nice. I'm just going to increase the font a little bit as well, so that's the font sizing. Cool, that's alright. Now what I'm going to do in this little container here, I'm going to add a little icon. So it's got loads of different icons for all the different sort of popular websites out there. I'm going to add a YouTube one. Okay, I'm going to drag it all the way up. That looks pretty good to me. I might change this color to red. Let's have a look. Bright red? Yeah, that works. Okay, so I can just leave it like that, and now anytime somebody would actually click on that button, it's obviously got a direct link. So I've shown you a container, I've shown you some of the few elements. Let me show you one of the more confusing things, which is the control section. So this is actually introduces another break to another page. So if I introduce one here, a section break, let's call this about me. Okay, so it has to be in one specific word. Let's say about me. Okay. Now below that about me, let's add should we add a video? So I wouldn't really recommend uploading your own video. I would recommend you embed one instead, meaning that, for example, if you embed a YouTube video, then it loads much faster, and then YouTube sort of deals with loading up that video. Alright, so what I've done here is I'm just gonna copy and paste the YouTube video in. There's another way to actually embed code in, but right now, because we don't have the pro version, we can't actually embed anything in there, but it still allows you to put in a video just by putting in a link, which is really helpful. So I've just put in a link there. So let's just add a image in there just to spice things up. Okay. Oh, we got a picture of me dabbing hair back when it was cool. Okay, let's just chuck that in. So I don't want to spend too much time editing this as well. Let's just say, for example, I increase the width of it. Cool. Now that will technically count as a separate page. What I can do is, if I come up here and go to my footer, and what I'll do is I'll go to the buttons aspect, the first tab. I'm going to add a new button, and I'll call that about me. I know there's already about one, but let's just say, for example. And then instead of putting a link here, I am going to put a hashtag about me, which essentially that's how these buttons work. Okay, within the individual sections, you put a little hashtag, and then that counts as a sort of link to an internal page. So now that's basically it. Let's say, for example, we're happy with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly put that same image there just to... Okay, so now we've got Faisal's website. We've got a divider there. I can remove that, there's a lot of space there. Okay, that looks good. Fine, we've got everything we need. The last thing I wanted to quickly mention was this markdown like formatting, which is basically a popular way of formatting text that a lot of other applications and websites use. So let me just show you. So all the instructions are just below the text here. It explains everything. So if you want something to be in bold, what you have to do is put 2 asterisks on either side, and then everything in there will become bold and the asterisk will disappear because it detects it as markdown formatting. But I don't want that. Actually no, we can leave it there, that's alright. So let's press done. Okay, so now that I've finished editing my actual website, how do I actually view it? How do I actually see what it looks like? How do I actually publish it to a domain name? How do I get it out there onto the web? Okay, so let's press save, and now we want to publish our website either as a draft or we just want to put it out there onto the web. So first you have to put down a title. So I'm going to say Faisal's website. Description done. Okay, now instead of saving it as a draft, I'm going to save it as a card URL. So what they mean here is that you can publish to a URL as long as it's got .card.co at the end of it for completely free. If you want to save your website to a custom domain, like a website that you've bought yourself, say for example faisal.com or faisaljamshid.com, you're going to have to pay for that separately and then buy a pro account here, which I'll come back to in just a minute. But let's stick with this for the minute and let's call it faisalswebsite.card.co because that's available. I'm going to press publish. So now we're saving it and actually creating the website. Okay, now it's done. So let's click view site and there we have it. So this, as I mentioned before, the header is at the top, that's going to stay there no matter what page you're on. The footer is at the bottom, it's going to stay there too. That was the first page we saw. This is the home page. Here's the link that we've made, YouTube, and the YouTube link as well. If I click about, it changes to another section, but it looks basically like another page. And contact, about me, that's the about me section that we added. Remember the video that embedded? You couldn't see it while we were editing the page, but once you publish it, you can see it like normal. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. So that's essentially it. Now let me show you what those pro elements can actually add to your website. So what I've gone done is I've now loaded up my regular account, which is I've got a pro account, and that means that I've got those pro elements enabled. So this is a website that I currently use. It's my main personal profile sort of website. So let's go through those elements that we were missing out last time. Okay, so first of all we can add a form. So if I add that at the bottom, you can either add a regular contact form where people can just email you. I can change the coloring scheme on this a little bit, or I can add a sign up form, whether that's for and connect that to MailChimp and a bunch of other options. And all you have to do is just add an API key, an audience ID, and it's got some nice help instructions within the documentation on the website, which explains how to do everything. But what I might do is, let's say for example, if I just want to leave a contact one, for example, so you've got all the different options here. There's a bunch of different options on the tabs to customize the fields, but also customize the buttons and the appearance of it as well. So what I might do is, so I could change the color scheme for this just for the sake of the video, but that would take a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and delete this, and here's another there's a duplicate button for any element. If you want to just duplicate the same thing, hit that duplicate button. I'm going to delete that, delete this form as well. What I'm going to add in is, now I'm going to add a widget. So there are quite a few widget options. So if you want to charge someone for a product, you can find a way to do this via Stripe, Gumroad, PayPal, etc. You can even add a Facebook like option. So if you've got a page which you want people to just click one little button, you just add your Facebook, the link of that Facebook page, and people can like it. Same thing with PayPal. Say for example, if you want people to pay for something, you can just set the amount, set your PayPal ID. Super simple for you to start earning money. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this one as well. I don't want that on the website. What I have done is embed quite a few things. So if I click this embed little element, and I can scroll down to see the code, which is basically I've taken from my newsletter website. They make it really easy for you to embed their products and things on other websites, as do many other companies. So what I've done is I've just copied and pasted this from the website onto here. I don't even know what it means. It just somehow magically puts what I need onto my website. So if I save this, and now I'll show you the custom domain. So I've chosen faisaljamshid.com. It's a domain that I've separately purchased on godaddy.com, and all I had to do is go to godaddy.com, go to the dashboard of that website name, and change a few settings. Okay, now there's some more help articles on that on the website. Just do a quick Google search, it's really quick and easy. But that essentially means that anytime somebody enters my website name, that what they're going to be directed to is the website that we're creating here. So somebody types in faisaljamshid.com and they're going to see this website that I've just made. So I'm going to click publish changes, and now it's saving the website. And if I click view site, there you have it. This is the thing that I've embedded. Let's just load it up here. So that is my newsletter. So that perfectly works. So if I were to type in an email and then submit it, that would work. I've got a link here which I've put in. I've got 2 YouTube videos. I've also embedded a YouTube subscribe option, and I've got some icons at the bottom. Super simple but super minimalist. It looks really nice, I think anyway. It does everything that I needed to do. Okay, so let's talk about the pricing. Now firstly, a free plan is great if you don't need an embed, form or widget option, and you're not too fussed about publishing to an exact domain name. Now I've loaded up all the different Pro plans up here. I personally recommend the Pro Standard or the Pro Plus. The Pro Plus is what I'm on. The Pro Lite over here, it doesn't offer you any of the custom domains or the forms and widget elements, so I wouldn't go with that. This Pro Standard version allows you to choose a custom domain, which is great. It gives you those forms, widgets and embeds. Also Google Analytics as well, which is also helpful if you want to track how many people are coming to your website, etc. And the one I'm on, the Pro Plus, it's got a few extra things which aren't that necessary, so I'd probably stick with the Pro Standard if you were to choose one Pro plan. So on my plan, I can create up to 25 websites, and on the Pro Standard you can create up to 10 sites for no extra charge. Okay, not only that, but if you already own custom domain names, you can make websites and connect them to those custom domain names for no added charge, which I think is amazing. Okay, so if you're a complete website noob, this is one thing you need to understand. To put a website out there onto the internet, you need 3 things. You need a domain name, which is like the name of the website. You need hosting, which is the physical storage of where all the data on your website will actually be held. And finally, you need some sort of content management system, which is basically some way to edit the website that you're dealing with. So Card actually provides the latter 2 for everyone, but if you're happy with having a Card extension at the end of your domain name, then you can have all 3 for as little as £20 a year, which I think is unheard of. Okay, so now let me tell you a bit about the disadvantages. First of all, it does not have all the same functional capabilities or design possibilities as something like WordPress will offer you. Now, it might not bother you at first, but as time goes on and you learn a bit more about making websites, you get a bit more experienced, it might start to irritate you that there's something you want to do, but there's just no way to do it on Card specifically. The websites on Card also don't load super fast. It's very difficult to get them up to a very quick speed like you might expect with something from Squarespace or Wix.com. However, if it's your first website, it really doesn't matter that much. So I've already shown you one website which I still use to this day using Card. It's actually my personal website. I could easily put it on a platform which is a bit more quicker, a bit more sophisticated, but it achieves everything I need to do. It's super simple to set up, and it takes me no time to update it at a regular basis. So let me tell you about 2 of the websites that I've created on Card, one of which is my personal website, which I still keep on Card to this day, just because it was super simple to set up. It's very minimalist. I don't need much on there for the moment, but it's super functional, so it gets everything done that I needed to get done, and it takes next to no time to update on a regular basis. So with this sort of website, what I did was I put all the links I wanted to share with my followers onto one page, and then I've sort of combined them onto just this one website. So all I have to do is put one link in my Instagram bio or my Twitter bio, and then it opens up to all these other links. Okay, so somebody will click this, it will take them to my YouTube channel. If they clicked on this, it will take them to all of my blogs that I've written. I actually copied that idea from a company called Linktree, which you might have seen a lot of different Instagram accounts have made Linktree or slash and then their name or their brand name, and what their page looks like is something similar to this, except for this is a lot less restrictive. in the long run it's a lot cheaper. The free plan, you can create something like this on Cards free plan. There's just so much more possibilities to do it, you know, on this. What's the point being restricted by a company who sets the rules when you can sort of play around and create something of your own? Now this second website that I created back in the day is very special to me, mainly because it was a platform that I created during my time at medical school to help medical students find research. And the time taken from having that idea to actually creating the website and putting it out there took me just 4 hours. If you've got an idea and you can see it clearly, you know how to do it, all I did was I just literally just copied and pasted a bunch of different buttons on there, added some text, embedded some forms, and there you have it. I had a fully functioning website that achieved its goal. So if we scroll down here, you can see that's my main page. I've got all my buttons at the top, and essentially I have different pages here. I've put in some contact forms, and over here we've got different links to different websites. I embedded some Google Forms. It was just such a, you know, it was amazing to just have this update. It's not the, I'll tell you now, it's not the prettiest of websites, but this was our, you know, functioning website for months on end. We had a lot of traffic flow. It did the job basically. So there's no harm in starting off with something like this, which achieves its purpose. Finally, as a teaser of some of the videos to come, here's a couple of websites that I've created in WordPress. This first one is an updated version of the website I showed you. It looks much nicer now. It's got a bit more flexibility with what I could do with it. I created this using WordPress. This second one is a sort of landing page for a book I co-authored on the Academic Foundation program. It's something UK medical students might know about. I had a lot of fun making this website and learning how to make a hard-hitting landing page in the process. So you can check that out if you'd like. Okay, so that's about everything I wanted to talk about. If you enjoyed this and you want to see me make more how-to videos, I'm thinking of making some videos on WordPress and how I use a drag and drop visual builder to create my websites now. So if you'd like that, definitely let me know. If you learned something new today, please give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I've got a ton of videos in the pipeline, so you don't want to miss them. Thanks so much for watching. All the relevant links will be in the description below. Show me some love in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.